To me, it's a forgotten era of modern history. For, sandwiched as it is between the Great War and the Second World War, the 1920s and 30s seem lost in time. We might remember its excesses and its failures at world peace. It seems a time of fast parties, Art Deco and the League of Nations. But mostly we feel those decades' sense of dread as fascism flourished, nurtured by the appalling economic disasters of the time. Now into that mix entered an American photographer who took the iconic image of the Migrant Mother in the Great Depression. For in 1936 the world was trapped in a global financial pandemic with work scarce beyond imagining. Dorothea Lange was employed by the United States government to chronicle this crisis. She recalls in Napoma, California, coming across Florence Owens Thompson and her children in a camp filled with field workers whose livelihoods were devastated by the failure of the pea crops. Recalling her encounter with Thompson years later, she said, "I saw and approached the hungry and desperate mother, as if drawn by a magnet. I do not remember how I explained my presence of my camera to her, but I do remember she asked no questions. She and her children had been living on vegetables from the field and wild birds that the children had caught. The pea crop had frozen. There was no work. Yet they could not move on, for she had sold the tires from their car to buy food." But if we study the look on her face today, you may see worry, even despair. Nevertheless, you also see a sense of grim determination. Of course she had to, for she was not alone in the picture. We see within it 3 of her 7 children, and for them she had to remain strong. She had to keep going. In turn, they must have had a sense of security even in their situation of destitution. In a way, those mites must have epitomised the psalmist's sentiments when he wrote Psalm 131. Here's what it said: "My heart is not proud, Lord, my eyes are not haughty. I do not concern myself with great matters or things too wonderful for me, but I have calmed and quietened myself. I am like a weaned child with its mother. Like a weaned child I am content. Israel, put your hope in the Lord, both now and forever." In these troubled times, perhaps we need some of that childlike reliance in God. We need to trust that He is looking out, possibly with worry for His children, but also with a determination to care for each and every one of us. Because that is the real strength of God, the strength of God we see in Christ Jesus. Florence Thompson later contested Lange's account. When a reporter interviewed her in the 1970s, she insisted that she and Lange did not speak to each other, nor did she sell the tires of her car. Either way, she lived to the age of 80, dying only in 1983. And so, in a 2008 interview with CNN, Thompson's daughter, Catherine McIntosh, recalled how her mother was a very strong lady and the backbone of our family. She said, "We never had a lot, but she always made sure we had something. She didn't eat sometimes, but she made sure her children ate. That's one thing she did do." May we feel the same way of our Father who art in heaven, and His Son who carries us.